Shalom Wabaraka Mispaka, peace and blessings family. In this video I'm going to be talking about some key vocabulary words of the scriptures. Corn, the cankerworm, the palmerworm, gopher wood, and camels. As you can see, there's a lot of corn in the scriptures.
And he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 years of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 years of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good.
Look at this, Genesis chapter 27 verse 28. This is just one example, but there's actually 255 examples that popped up.
Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine.
You saw that? It says, therefore, Hayah, give thee the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Corn. Okay? Let me show you something about corn. This is a PDF about corn in Africa. The sons of Jacob going down into Egypt to get corn for the famine. We thinking about Africa, right? We thinking about Africa because when we think of Egypt, we think about Africa. Well, you gotta do your research. Corn in Africa. We're gonna talk about the origin. The origin of maize. Maize means corn. And the origin is Central America. Mexico. Notice how they said 7,000 years ago. See how they give these exaggerated estimates and stuff? But really, they don't really know. They just want to make stuff sound educated. You can't prove stuff like that. It says, also Dobley was a part of the team that is credited with first finding back in 2002 that maize had been domesticated only once, about 9,000 years ago. See these lies, man. How do they know how long ago it was exactly? There's no way you can prove that. And then spread throughout the Americas. A primitive corn was grown in southern Mexico, Central America, and northern South America 7,000 years ago. See, they make these numbers so big. But if it was really that long ago, then why is this possible? We're talking about popcorn here. Popcorn. Early history of popcorn. It says scholars agree that corn and popcorn originated in the Americas. So really I could just stop right there, but I'm going to keep reading. Precisely how it originated, however, is a topic of debate. It is believed by many experts that corn was developed by centuries of breeding and crossbreeding wild grasses like teosinte. There has also been much speculation about how popcorn may have been prepared or used by Native Americans, fueled by the findings of popcorns in archaeological digs. It says the oldest known corn pollen is scarcely distinguishable from modern corn pollen, judging by an 80,000-year-old fossil found 200 feet below Mexico City. Carbon dating doesn't go back that far. 80,000 years? Are you serious? I'm gonna make another video about carbon dating. It doesn't go back much further than 6,000 years. So how can you really carbon date something that's 80,000 years old? See, they be lying. Look, in tombs of Peru, researchers have found grains of popcorn, perhaps 1,000 years old. Now that's actually true. Like, that actually could be true, because 1,000 years don't sound too bad, because a lot of times they be overreacting about dates on Google and stuff. In southwestern Utah, a 1,000-year-old pop kernel of popcorn was found in a dry cave inhabited by predecessors of the Pueblo Indians. So if all the corn in the Americas was 7,000 years old and 80,000 years old, how come Native Americans was using corn only 1,000 years ago? Look at this, my favorite link. I'll put these links in the description, by the way. Look what it says for maize. Maize, or corn, is a cereal crop that is grown widely throughout the world in a range of agroecological environments. More maize is produced annually than any other grain. About 50 species exist and consist of different colors, textures, and grain shapes and sizes. But look, let's look at the second paragraph. It says, maize was introduced in Africa in the 1500s. Maize was introduced in Africa in the 1500s.
Maize was introduced in Africa in the 1500s
and has since become one of Africa's dominant food crops. You don't get that? It was introduced. That means before then it was never existing in Africa. It was introduced in Africa in the 1500s. Simple, right? Talk about the Palmerworm and the Cankerworm. Let's talk about these babies. In the book of Joel and in the book of Amos, but I'm just going to be dealing with Joel right now. Chapter 1 and verse 4.
That which the Palmerworm hath left hath the locust eaten, and that which the locust hath left hath the cankerworm eaten, and that which the cankerworm hath left hath the caterpillar eaten.
Now do you see this? It names three things: a palmerworm, a locust, and a cankerworm. Now let me show you something. Let's look up locust. Locust on Etymology Dictionary. Look what it says under definition 1. In the Hebrew Bible, there are 9 different times for the insect or for particular species or varieties. In the English Bible, they are rendered sometimes locust, sometimes beetle, grasshopper, caterpillar, palmerworm, etc. Palmerworm, etc. So when it says locust, it could possibly mean palmerworm, right? So when we look up palmerworm, it will tell you the larva of a tinea moth of the eastern U.S. that feeds on the leaves of apple and other fruit trees. So the palmerworm is indigenous to the U.S. Look what else it will say. The palmerworm is a moth of the Gallicidae family. It is found in eastern North America. It is found in eastern North America. Did they say eastern North America, comma, Africa, comma, the Middle East, comma, Egypt? No, they said eastern North America. Now let me show you something else about the palmerworm. Look. First recorded in 1550. Now the question is, no, the Bible wasn't written in 1550. So what do they mean by it was first recorded? Because we know the palmerworm was already recorded in the Torah. It was already recorded in the scriptures. which go back way further than 1550. So the question is, it was recorded by who? The Europeans who came here and saw the Palmerworm. It was first recorded in 1550 by them. Don't you understand that? So they discovered the Palmerworm in 1550. These same Europeans must have discovered our scriptures around 1550. And that's why the King James Version was translated as late as the 1600s. I mean, come on. The other worm is a cankerworm, right? Now these are types of locusts. Cankerworm, the palmerworm, the beetle, etc. All in Joel, Amos, right? Cankerworm. The caterpillar of a North American moth. The caterpillar of a North American moth. So for cankerworm, for corn, and for palmerworm, everything shows up for the Americas.
And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hand, and he arose, and went to Mesopotamia, unto the city of Nahor.
Now we're dealing with camels here. Camels, the origin, Semitic. What does that mean? That means the descendants of Shem came up with this word. You know, it's a Shemite word. Shemites are familiar with it. That means the Hebrews. So I typed up, where did camels originate? Drum roll. Are you ready? Boom. Come on, man. Come on. But then they give some absurd date, like 45 million years ago. Come on, man. Carbon dating does not go back that far. You know carbon dating doesn't go back that far. It will not go back no further than 6,000 years. Come on. Come on. Now look at this. Genesis chapter 6. Bereshit chapter 6. Look what it says.
Make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. Make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch.
Now we looking up gopher wood, right? No, the Most High told Noah to build an ark out of gopher wood, right? So gopher wood, definition number 1. In biblical use, the timber wood which Noah's ark was made from what they call an unidentified tree. Now they know everything in the world, how old everything was, but they can't identify this tree. But the second definition tells you either of 2 North American trees. Come on.